We're honored and privileged to have our guest of the day, Hattie Kauffman, who is going to be highlighting and showcasing her artwork tomorrow at one of our locations. Welcome to the Daybreak Star Radio Network.
Thank you. You know, I was actually one of those who climbed the fence before Daybreak Star existed, way back when it was Fort Lawton.
Really?
Wow, that's a cool
Yeah,
story.
who knew we'd be sitting here today?
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
I bet that was scary and thrilling and amazing all at the same time.
Say that again, I missed you there.
Oh, sorry. I bet that was scary and thrilling and really exciting all at the same time.
Oh, it was. I was a teenager, young teenager, and you know, Bernie was kind of the leader of getting the Native American community together. I remember that the cars, we would have these back in the day. You had an antenna for your radio in the front of the car, and so you'd pull it up, and everybody tied little red bandanas, and that was sort of the clue that you were in on this convergence of all these cars coming from all over Seattle to Magnolia to Fort Lawton. And it was pretty cool, you know, as you started to see more and more of them, and you're looking out the window, and you see this, either a red bandana or maybe somebody might tie in a feather or something, but you got a pretty quick idea that they were Indian cars and they were heading to that neighborhood in Seattle.
That's great.
It was pretty wild.
Yeah. Do you remember what you were thinking when your feet landed on the other side of the fence?
No, you know, it happened so quickly. That was the thing is, you know, we were quickly apprehended. I do remember running and hiding underneath bushes, and my mom climbed over the fence too. And you think about that, like she was a skinny, older Indian woman, and she climbed over the fence. I remember that I was captured almost immediately. My feet were sticking out of from the bushes because the MPs all came running as we were climbing over, and there were people invading Fort Lawton from a couple different locations. So I was from where this park, where we all parked kind of near the front of the entrance to Discovery Park, and that the chain link fences that were there. There was a drum group, you know, drumming outside. I don't even remember exactly what the signal was, but all of a sudden everybody was dashing for the fence and climbing. We got over. I remember that our big achievement didn't last long because there were the MPs coming, and I hid under these shrubs. And I remember somebody grabbing my ankle, and it was one of the MPs. But the thing is that even though we were quickly marched into I don't know what it would be, the barracks, what did they throw you in, the clink, and but there was a sense of achievement. Even though we were quickly rounded up, there was a we did it kind of moment. I mean, when you really think about you know, Indians and the fort, we scaled the fort, so it was a pretty big day.
Yeah, well, thank you for that. It's turned into all of this.
Yes, yeah, who would ever imagine?
Yeah. Right.
Hattie, I really applaud you, and you know that last question really segues into the next question. And you know, you've won
countless amounts of awards. You've had a spectacular previous TV career. Congratulations to you on you know, wearing that jersey and representing brands like CBS and Good Morning America. It's a lot of people's dreams when they go to journalism and TV school. I wanted to ask, you know, from someone like yourself who probably have given you assigned yourself tasks to be able to reach, now being a professional full-time artist, what inspires you to give yourself that direction when you're sitting in front of the easel or grabbing the paintbrush or thinking about colors to build out that projection in terms of the look that you want to be displayed in an upcoming show?
Oh, thank you. Thank you for that question. One thing that I want to point out right away is that you mentioned the television career, and now I'm painting, and I sign my paintings Hattie. I don't sign them Hattie Kauffman. I don't want somebody to buy a painting because I used to be on television. To me, that just seems kind of bogus. So I don't. It's an odd thing because you could capitalize on your previous career. However, that doesn't have anything to do with what's happening on the canvas. The canvas is art, and art is internal and it's spiritual. And sometimes a painting, you don't even know where it's going to go when you start. So it's been kind of scary for me to try to do something new and different. On the other hand, I always knew, even when I was a little kid, that I was called to this, or I could do this, or I felt it inside of me. In high school, I won a little award when I just decided to, to submit a drawing, and I won second place. And I thought, wow. And then when I was working at King 5 News in Seattle as a starting reporter, sometimes you'd be sent to cover a trial. And this was prior to cameras in the courtroom, and they would hire an artist to sketch the judge and the prosecutor and the defense attorney, and a little thing of the jury. And sometimes in trials it can get very boring, as there's a lot of stop and start and conferencing. And so I used to sit there and kind of sketch on the side of my notes. And one time I came back to the station at King, and I saw the artist's drawing, and I thought, I mean, I liked mine better. But I didn't tell anybody, because I didn't want, because I'm trying to become a reporter, and I didn't want anybody to know that I could draw. But anyway, it's always been there. And this is a long-winded answer to your question. But getting back to when you're facing the canvas and what do you bring to it, and what calls you, I found that since I started this really later in my career or my life, I needed to try a little bit of everything. I didn't feel like I came out of a fine arts school where you're able to determine what is your style, so I had to try this style and that style, and until I felt like it was representative of me. And right now it's sort of a I don't know how best to describe it. I like loose lines. I tend to go for color. I am still doing more than one subject. I mean, I have some abstracts that I really like that actually I don't have an example to show you here, because they're in California. I have had shows in California and shows up here in Seattle. And I have on my wall some original, when I tried to do very realistic paintings, realism, and then the impressionist phase and the post-impressionist phase, and you're trying to get yourself looser and looser. And boy, am I ever a long-winded answer. You'd think working in television, I'd know that you guys want quick sound bites, but I guess my meandering, it just reflects the kind of meandering that I've been doing these past 2 years on the canvas.
Thank you.
That's wonderful. Just to piggyback on that, can you tell our listeners your tribal affiliation and if that plays into your work and how?
Yes, I'm Nez Perce, Nez Perce tribe from Idaho, known to most Americans because of Chief Joseph and the long 1,600-mile journey to try to join Sitting Bull in Canada. And it was one of the last wars, 1877. So that's my tribe. I'm half Nez Perce, half white, raised partly in Idaho on the reservation, partly in Seattle, mostly in Seattle, although like most urban Indians, we always went back and forth. But I do want to say something in answer to your question about how does that reflect my art. I am Native American. I am an artist. I don't think of myself as stuck in that category of I'm a Native American artist. And I think partly that happens when you start to, like you're going to paint like some powwow dancers. I've got, flip you around, there's one right up there, but I did it very, very loosely. And then I don't want to be stuck in a ghetto of you're Native, so you just paint powwows. I also really object to the balkanization of because you're Nez Perce, you only paint Nez Perce. I mean, I was actually at a Native American show where I had a painting of a person outside the teepee, and somebody said, that's not Cheyenne, is it? You know, like you shouldn't paint something that's like not your tribe. And it was not, it was somebody from my own reservation, my own camp. And I said, no, but the point is, I don't think that we should all be limited to whatever it is that our tribal tradition is. And that's the only way that we're supposed to express ourselves, because all of art has always been derivative and collaborative. And I don't see anybody growing unless you can explore.
I agree. I think that's amazing. And one of the things that has always bothered me about the Native American artistic condition is that oftentimes you're pigeonholed and you must fit right inside this little box. And if you go outside that little box, you just people try to shove you back in all the time.
Exactly. And sometimes it's your own people shoving you back in. In fact, one of the paintings that I'll be showing in Ballard, or you'll see this weekend at the Sacred Circle Gallery in Ballard at the Art Walk, is horsepower. And I purposely did these horses as if they were escaping the ledger, which isn't to say anything negative about ledger art and ledger painting, but there are a lot of current artists who are doing that style of painting, which was done in the 1800s of the ledgers. And the horses are perennially stuck in that pose of the front legs this way, the back legs that way. They're just stuck. And it made me think of how, if I could do off the ledger and I could let these horses break free, that it would be kind of a symbol maybe of that old phrase, off the reservation. Like, I think we could all get to go off the reservation. So that's one of the paintings that I have this weekend.
And another perfect segue, your show tomorrow, September 11th from 6 to 9 at the Sacred Circle Gallery in the Ballard location. And that's special to Sherry and I, because that particular location was where we kicked off not only a previous art show, but that's where we actually kicked off the radio network, the Daybreak radio network. I wanted to ask you how you came up. I mean, I love the titles from Paseo del Norte, and the quote that you aligned when you said, how many of our brothers and sisters, have to, lose their lives, through the pattern and through the illustration of Paseo del Norte, horsepower, like you just mentioned, Reservation Road, and my favorite, Triple Vision. Just, I love the title, and I wanted you to explain how you came up with the name Triple Vision.
Oh, thank you for that. So despite what I said about you don't have to only paint powwow dancers, I actually have a dancer in this exhibit, but at first I was going to call it Trinity, but then I thought, I don't know, because that has a religious significance. And so I thought, no, I'm not going to go for Trinity, but I like the past, present, and future aspect of that. So many times when they will say, if you're at a dance and you lose yourself, you're not dancing to perform, and you're not dancing, keeping a step and counting, and you completely lose yourself. And one thing I loved about that when I started that painting was challenging myself to lose myself as I'm painting it. And when you do that, I mean, he was getting looser and looser, and then pretty soon, like these people that are reflections of him appear, and you could either go, like Bob Ross, that's a happy little accident, and turn it into a little shadow or something, or I don't know what, but I kept at it, and I think as I said in my little artist statement, that we don't know the past that we are, how we are affected from the past, or the future that we are affecting and not just, this is such an Indian cliche of the next generation. I don't want to talk about that. I'm just talking about even our own futures. We don't know every single time when we do something, you open a door, you don't know how many doors that's going to lead to. So I like the idea that we are dancing with our past and our present all the time. And whether we're on the dance floor or not, whether we're walking, whether we're cooking, whatever we're doing, we are with our past and present. So that's what that symbolizes for me.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sure.
So there's so again, the show tomorrow is at the Sacred Circle Gallery in Ballard, and you're going to be on site.
I'll be on site for the art walk. portion. I've had several people contact saying they want to know if I'll be there earlier, and I'm going to try to get there. I mean, the art walk is 6 to 9, and I'm traveling in, so I'll try to get there, earlier if I can, but we'll see.
That's great.
But I will
Well,
definitely be there and look forward to meeting people.
Oh, yes, it should be quite a fun time. Well, thank you
Thank you
so
for
much.
having me.
It's
Okay,
yeah,
thank you.
it's so wonderful. Yes.